I know, Julius, if he sees any kind of friendly relations with us, they would have been chopped off. I was very influential in the vets student movement. I stopped talking to them at all because I knew that if they were seen with me or whatever, they would have been chopped off. And some actually were chopped off as a result of their continued association with me. Julius is running a very clear project there. There's no space for any kind of questioning. So yeah, we went in, we were smashed, we then converged in the Black First Land Festival.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Black First Land Festival movement. Julius Malema speaking to Sizwe Dlomo. I have a very sharp memory. When I listen to something, I pay attention to it. I didn't note any of these things down, but when he was speaking to Sizwe Dlomo, I will paraphrase, he insinuated that your BLF project was an ANC-funded, Zuma faction-funded project. How do you respond to that? Did you hear him say that? Because he did say that you were a project specifically funded by the Zuma. And at the time, of course, what people were visibly seeing was you going to support Jacob Zuma every time there was a court case, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I heard that some people told me that. Well, there's no truth to that at all. We are an independent, organically emerged movement. Once one got out of the EFF, we asked the question, what must happen? And we had a serious debates amongst ourselves. I personally was very reluctant to start a political movement, but comrades in the SNI were very clear that we have to start all over again. As Lenin says, you get smashed, you pick yourself up, smashed again, start all over again and again, just like
You're quoting Lenin. Let me bring it closer to modern times. To Kwaito, as Mendoza said,
exactly. So we have to keep the dream alive. And at the time we also believed, we analyzed the consciousness existing movements, and there was an option. Should we join Azapo, for instance? Our view was that we couldn't go to Azapo because we were raising a critique about two things there. One, the association with the ANC ruling party, because their president was a minister in the Mbeki administration, and then also they have accepted white membership. So we had ideological.
And I think that was a beef as well with with the PAC.
Yes.
Which they also accept white members.
Yes, and also the internecine kind of battles within the PAC were very troubling for us.
Sure, the PAC, Matote, has been involved in battles for almost all of my existence. I'm born in 1990. Ever since I opened my eyes, maybe when I was 10, noticing things, what are politics, it's like there's always some grappling with leadership and people taking each other to court.
Yeah.
And I was always asking myself, shouldn't this be a vehicle for us as Africans? This is not another band, but they're continuously involved in leadership.
It has gone a little bit better in the past few years under Mzwanele. There seemed to be some kind of order that is coming into the PAC. Let's see how long that is sustained. But as I say, at a time we debated these options, and then we said no, we have to start a new political movement, and Black First Land First was born.
Yeah, but why does Julius Malema says you are fired by Jacob Zuma?
Yeah, I mean, I think when I got out of hospital, I was told that he had said that, and I actually thought about suing him, because apparently he said that I got money from Jacob Zuma through the Secret Service, something like that.
Yes, it was, because I was listening to that interview.
Yes.
There was something along those lines.
Yeah, which is a total lie, of course. We support Jacob Zuma ideologically. And I mean, that is why we support Jacob Zuma. We stood with the Guptas. From an ideological point of view, our argument is simply this. what is the main contradiction in South Africa? The main contradiction is the battle against white capital. Who are those who are opposed to white capital? The Guptas and Zuma were opposed to white capital. Therefore, tactically, they become our allies in the battle. I mean,
an enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Of course, this is what Mao Zedong teaches us, that the enemy of your enemy is your friend.
Yeah.
And
Can I ask you something, my leader, and I ask this respectfully? Do you not waver from positions as a result of reading the room from your followers? If you are BLF and trying to build something with the intention of it being a political movement that can be sustainable and winning some votes and percentages, if the room is saying, yo, imakancinci ngozuma, or yo, imakancinci ngabagupta, are you not rigid in your position? I ask this with respect, Oguti. Perhaps the majority of the people that follow us don't want us to talk about this, and I will get to Bushiri as well, because I think it's interlinked as well, that there are these people that your followers would rather not hear. It's like their following is on the condition that, don't talk to us about Zuma, let the ANC stand up for Zuma, because that's a different party altogether. Let the Indians fight for the Guptas, because that's their nationals, if they are Indian nationals. Let the congregants of Bushiri fight for him. But Tina can rebuild here as the BLF without having to hear about those people.
Yes, that's a very neat, clean positioning. We will not dirty ourselves with the affairs of others. But in the revolutionary situation, we are going to have to dirty our hands, because we're always trying to tip the scales in our favor. We can be very purist, a small, uninfluential proposition. Or we can try to align with those that, with some kind of minimum agreements with. If white capital, if we are convinced that white capitalists are taking you, it is our duty to defend you. Because in our heads, there's the primary contradiction. And whatever comes from the primary contradiction dictates how we respond.
Are you not hamstringing yourself in the process of building? In the process, so having built a few businesses myself, I know the goal. It's like, okay, I could be embroiled in focusing on anything else other than building this brand, so that in 2 years' time, we are making 5 million per year at a small scale, or maybe 50 million per year. So my mindset is literally just, let me just do this. So as EPLF, before your first election, you are canvassing, you are trying to gain popularity amongst your followers, which you have arguably between 50 and 100,000 sympathizers, in outright numbers, sympathizers, potential people that could vote for you. If half of them are saying, can you stop talking about this topic as we are leading up to the elections, and you are continuously talking about it, you are continuously supporting it, you are continuously using your resources to go to support Umsholozi, whereas in-house, your potential pool of people that could support you to get 2 seats in parliament are saying, don't do this. Can you not see, Uguti, you are perhaps derailing, or you are hamstringing yourself? That was the original word I used. Hamstringing yourself, that you are on this ideological point, you are steadfast, that you are not going to change. But what it means is that between 50 and 100,000 people are not going to vote for you as a result of that.
Well, I mean, that is a calculation that you make. The other aspect of it is that if you look at the following of Bushiri and the following of Zuma, it's also quite substantial. So you are making calculations about the possibility of actually attracting those into your cause. And the fact that did not translate into numbers like that, it does mean, of course, you undercut your natural base.
Because you did have a strong base. You yourself, as Andile Mngxitama, are such a charismatic leader that if obviously social media was not trying to attack you, you would probably have 100,000 people easily voting for you. If